Imagine a warship so massive it looks like a floating city, carrying more than 5,000 sailors, dozens of fighter jets, helicopters, and weapons powerful enough to project strength anywhere in the world. Now imagine the cost of building such a giant. Over $13 billion for a single ship. This is the story of the United States Navy's brand new aircraft carrier, a floating fortress unlike anything humanity has ever constructed. Today, we take you deep inside the secretive world of naval shipyards, where steel, fire, and innovation come together to create the most advanced war machine on the planet. The journey begins in the giant dry docks of Newport News, Virginia, the only place in America capable of building these monsters. The size of the project is staggering. An aircraft carrier like the USS Gerald R. Ford class is over 1,100 feet long, taller than a 25-story building if stood on its end, and displaces more than 100,000 tons of water. To put it simply, it is a floating airbase the length of 3 football fields. The construction process doesn't begin with a keel like traditional ships. Instead, engineers use a modular technique, building massive steel sections called superlifts, each weighing hundreds of tons. These sections are carefully fabricated in separate facilities, filled with pipes, wiring, and even some equipment, before being transported by giant cranes and welded together like pieces of a colossal puzzle. Inside the shipyard, the atmosphere is both industrial and futuristic. Sparks fly from welders who look like tiny ants compared to the towering walls of steel around them. Cranes taller than skyscrapers swing slowly, lifting enormous blocks into place. Every bolt, every weld, every plate must be perfect, because once this ship sails, it must endure not only the open ocean but also the violence of war. The steel used to build the carrier is specially treated for strength and durability, capable of withstanding extreme stress, fire, and even blasts from enemy weapons. But the real magic is not just in its size. It's in the technology hidden inside. The new $13 billion carrier is designed to replace the legendary Nimitz-class carriers with a leap into the future. The most revolutionary feature is its electromagnetic aircraft launch system, known as EMALS. For decades, carriers used steam-powered catapults to hurl jets off the deck. It worked, but it was brutal on aircraft and limited the Navy's ability to launch lighter drones or heavier, future aircraft. EMALS uses magnetic fields to launch planes with precision and less stress, like a futuristic roller coaster, but powerful enough to throw a 30-ton jet into the sky in just a couple of seconds. This system alone represents a massive technological leap, reducing maintenance, increasing sortie rates, and preparing the Navy for the future of aerial warfare. The flight deck itself is a masterpiece of design. Coated with special non-skid materials, it must endure constant punishment from the wheels of jets, landing at over 150 miles per hour. Arresting wires stretch across the deck, ready to catch planes in seconds, dragging them from full flight speed to a complete stop in less than 200 feet. Beneath the deck lies a labyrinth of hangars, workshops, and elevators designed to move aircraft up and down with lightning speed. These elevators are not simple lifts. They are advanced electromagnetic platforms capable of carrying 2 fighter jets at once, moving them to the deck silently and efficiently. Walking inside the unfinished carrier feels like exploring a steel city under construction. Narrow passageways wind like veins through the ship. Thousands of miles of pipes and cables snake through bulkheads and compartments for sleeping quarters. Kitchens, hospitals, and command centers slowly take shape. Yes, an aircraft carrier is not just a warship, it is also a floating community. It has its own power grid, water treatment plants, bakeries, gyms, even television studios for internal broadcasting. For the thousands of sailors who will call it home, this ship must provide everything needed for months at sea, far from any land. One of the most extraordinary features is hidden deep inside the ship, its nuclear heart. The carrier is powered by 2 nuclear reactors, each capable of running for more than 2 decades without refueling. These reactors generate enough electricity to power a city of hundreds of thousands of people, and they drive the ship forward at speeds over 30 knots. More importantly, the unlimited endurance provided by nuclear power means the carrier can remain at sea for as long as the crew can handle, a strategic advantage unmatched by any conventional ship. Building such a marvel is not easy. The complexity is staggering. Over 10 million feet of electrical cable must be installed, more than 4 million pounds of structural steel welded, and thousands of complex systems integrated. Every step requires coordination between engineers, welders, electricians, nuclear technicians, and the Navy itself. Delays are common, and costs can spiral. Critics often question why such a ship costs $13 billion, but the answer lies in the cutting-edge technology, the sheer scale, and the fact that each carrier represents the absolute pinnacle of naval engineering. Testing is one of the most nerve-wracking parts of the process. Before an aircraft carrier can join the fleet, it undergoes sea trials, where it is pushed to its limits in the open ocean. The ship's propulsion, electronics, aircraft launch systems, and defensive weapons are all tested in real conditions. And then comes the most dramatic test of all: shock trials. The Navy literally detonates explosives in the water near the ship to simulate battle conditions, ensuring that the carrier can withstand the violence of modern warfare. Watching a 100,000-ton ship shake violently from a controlled explosion is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. But it proves one thing: this warship is built to survive. Beyond its military role, the carrier also represents power projection. Wherever it sails, it carries not only aircraft but also a message. A single carrier strike group, built around this $13 billion ship, can dominate an entire region, controlling the skies, protecting allies, and deterring enemies. That is why the US invests such astronomical sums into these giants. They are not just weapons, they are symbols of dominance, floating reminders of America's reach across the oceans. Finally, when the carrier is complete, painted in navy gray, it's deck-lined with aircraft, and its crew standing proudly in formation, it becomes more than steel and technology. It becomes a symbol of human ambition, of what is possible when thousands of minds and hands work together to create something bigger than themselves. Watching the massive vessel glide out of the shipyard for the first time is a moment of triumph, the culmination of years of planning billions of dollars, and the unshakable belief that this ship will guard a nation's interests for the next half-century or so. The next time you hear about the US Navy's newest $13 billion aircraft carrier, remember what it truly represents. Not just money, not just steel, but the blending of science, engineering, and determination into a single floating masterpiece. A city at sea, a fortress of the future, and a silent promise to both allies and adversaries that the oceans still belong to those who dare to build giants. And if this glimpse into the making of one of the world's most powerful warships fascinated you, stay tuned, because the world of military engineering holds even more secrets, and the next project might be even bigger, even more advanced, and even more unbelievable.